events for 20 years and have been volunteering since I was a wee lass. So nonprofits and missions and doing good has always been just a part of who I am, and so I love sharing that with people. And I hope that today you'll take away some great ideas that you can share with your friends and family and with your participants and donors as well.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go to the next.
Perfect. So today we're going to just talk about doing some fundraising at home, doing home recruitment, getting your friends and family involved, doing fundraising in the office, and then also looking to do recruiting in the office as well. Go ahead, Jean.
Okay.
So one of the really great things when you have a date-specific event is that you really can do other events that are surrounding the day of your event, and even weeks and sometimes months. And I've even had fundraisers that do events even 6 months before an event. And this could be something as simple as having your friends over for a wine and cheese night and just asking that they make a donation to your cause or to your team the night of the event, or simply even visiting your personal or team page. Or it could be something on a grander scale where you're partnering with a local restaurant. Some restaurants do evenings where a portion of the night's ticket sales, or not ticket sales, but meal sales, go to a specific organization. Sometimes bartenders will give up their tips for the evening, or a portion of their tips, to go towards your cause. You can also do events where you may be the guest bartender and you have your friends and family come out to and attend an event at a local restaurant. There are also things that you can do at bowling alleys or other social events like that. So it's a good idea to think about things that you like to do. Maybe friends or family don't want to wake up early in the morning to go to this specific event, or maybe you know, they're not interested in doing something that's more of the physical nature. So you can do other events that can still get them interested and really getting them to be involved in some way to the mission that you're supporting, and really to involve friends and family so that the patient that you're supporting feels that there's a lot more involvement from people who may not be able to either attend the event, or maybe they have a conflict, but they can still be involved. Another item or another project that you can do, I like to call trash or treasure. You can hold a yard sale or a tag sale, as they call it up here in the Northeast where I am currently, or you could sell items on eBay, and you can designate that the funds that are raised through these sales go to your event and go to your team or personal page. Another great idea is to use special events throughout the year as a way to fundraise for your specific event. If you're celebrating a birthday or a wedding anniversary or another important event, I know people who have celebrated their weddings, and instead of asking for gifts, they ask that a donation be made in honor of your charity. So Beacon could be the recipient of birthday wishes or wedding wishes or anniversary wishes through your team or personal page. I've really seen it being successful with teenagers as they're celebrating their 16th birthday. I know it sounds unusual that a teenager wouldn't want to receive gifts, but it's surprising that when you bring this idea to them, especially if it's a loved one who's been impacted by bladder cancer, how eager they are to really make an impact as well. And this is a great way for them to show their care about the mission and their love for their family member. And it's a really great model for other young people as well to see. Local sponsorships are also a great way that you can fundraise at home. Maybe there's a supermarket that you frequent, that you're there every week, or your dry cleaner, or some other local establishment that you give your business to on a regular basis. I find that when you come to them and you tell your personal story, and that's what's important, is your personal story, that they're usually able to find even $50 or $100 that they could then sponsor you with. And what's important to remember, especially when you're looking at local sponsorships, is that you don't have to ask for the large $500, $1,000 sponsorship, that every little bit helps. And that maybe that $50 turns into $100 the next year or the year after. Or maybe if it is a grocery store, maybe they're able to donate bottles of water. So that cost that you would have incurred, or even the event would have incurred, is now covered by that local sponsorship. Perfect. Thank you, Jean. Recruiting at home. So this is always, as an event planner, I always want to get more people involved in the event. And, you know, as I mentioned before, sometimes it's hard to get people out of bed, even though, you know, the beacon cause is important. You have those people that just want to sleep in on event day. So turn your event into a family reunion. Make sure that you're inviting people from out of town. I know of some families who, when it's a national event program like this one is, they'd actually choose a special city every year, and they would go and they would visit that city. So if they were from Atlanta, they'd go to San Francisco for the event, or they would go to Chicago. And so that way they were really able to enjoy the city where the event was and enjoy that special family time with their loved ones, which is so important as well. And even if it is just a community event down the street, being able to pull the grandparents, the grandkids, the nieces and nephews together for a special day is always really important. It really shows that there's a family involvement and that you're really supporting the patient who has bladder cancer, or if unfortunately they've passed away, it's a great way to remember that person as well. I've also had experiences where friends have gathered together. Maybe their family isn't close by, and so they have a girls' day, and everyone wears a funny hat, or they come, you know, hours before the event and have a breakfast, or they go out afterwards to lunch. There are great ways that you can really pull your friends together and have them be involved in the event as well, and make it fun and make it an annual event. You can also ask for place of worship if this might be something that they want to do. You may not realize that there are other people in your congregation who have been impacted by the disease and who may want to, or who may not have been aware of the event. So this is a great way to reach out to those members and really to either have a time to reflect with members of a congregation, or just have some, you know, additional time with members of your place of worship that you might not have had otherwise. Getting your school involved is also a great way to recruit more team members. If you have a child that's in an elementary school or high school or even college, they may need to do a service project. And so they may need to volunteer. We had a group from, it was actually a fraternity from a college, and all the young men got up early and were able to help us with an event. And it was a really great show for their school and for the organization as well, that they were able to do this. It's also a great way to even bring back old school friends. So again, I had spoken about a family reunion. It's also a great way to bring school friends back together, especially if a friend from college or from high school is impacted by the disease. Then that's a great way to show your support to that person and to really spend time with the people who care about them. Go ahead, Jane. Fundraising at work. This is always fun. I always like to hear other ideas of what other people have done and how they've done fundraising at work. I always suggest a coffee break. That's sort of my go-to. fundraising example because when I worked in an office, there was a Starbucks, and it was literally right across the street. And every day at 3 o'clock, the group of us would go down to Starbucks and we would spend our $5. And if we took that $5 that we spent every day and we took that then $25 donation for the week, that's a great way to start raising funds. And it's a fun idea, and does it have to be every day? No. But it's just a fun way to really put in perspective how much people are spending on throwaway items like Starbucks coffee and how that money really could be used in a better way as a donation to Beacon and to amp up for the event. Another idea is Dress Down Day. I know a lot of the offices around the country now really are more casual, so it's not as exciting as it used to be to wear jeans to work, but it still adds a fun twist to it. And if you ask, you know, the HR person or the head of the department if this is something that you can do, maybe it's not that you wear jeans, maybe it's that you wear your orange amp up shirt or a funny hat or something like that, but you ask for a donation for the people to participate in. It's just a fun way to get camaraderie among your colleagues and raise funds for amp up. Another way to do it would be to brown bag it. So many of us go out to lunch for lunch, and are spending sometimes upwards of $20 for our lunch during the day. So on a particular day, ask everyone to take the money that they would have normally spent for a lunch out and give that to your team or personal page for amp up. And then have everyone bring in a brown bag lunch that day. And if it's nice out, maybe go and have a picnic if you can at your workplace outside. I know some places have picnic tables and things like that. Or just sit in the lunchroom and enjoy some conversation. And it's a great time then, too, to not necessarily sell amp up, but just to explain why Beacon and why amp up are important to you and why you're doing the event. Last but not least is the snack attack. And this essentially is just something where either you or your colleagues could all contribute to provide snacks on a Friday or even a Monday to get rid of those Monday blues. And you, again, just ask that if people are going to partake in the snacks, whatever it might be, cookies or chips, that they make a small donation. And that can be something as simple as putting a penny jar in the snack room. And whenever anyone comes in and would like to enjoy a treat, they put $1 or 50 cents or whatever it might be. And if you have that week by week on each Monday, you can really see that those funds add up. Go ahead, James. Okay, last but not least, we have recruiting at work. One of the initiatives that I really like to do and really like to work with the HR departments on was a health initiative for the company. And would the HR be willing to sponsor a team? Maybe there is an HR initiative in place, a health initiative in place, but maybe they really haven't done much with it. So you bringing an amp up event to them as a way for them to get involved is a great start. And then you can also tie in that if they'd like to sponsor the amp up event, then we can work with them on registration discounts and things like that, depending on what package they choose. So not only are you getting more people involved in the event, but you're also raising additional money as well. And this is also a great way, really, for those who may not know about Beacon and what Beacon is doing. It's a great way to spread that mission so that more people who may be impacted by bladder cancer are learning about what Beacon does. Next, we have Get Competitive. This is a really great way if HR is aware of the event and you do have multiple departments, you know, to really get that friendly, competitive nature going between your colleagues and to set up individual teams for, say, the finance department or whatever other departments that you might have within your company. And really, that way, too, it could be about raising funds. It could be about seeing how many people each team was able to recruit. And then you can have a nice event on event day as well, where maybe you're bringing food or going out afterwards and it's a friendly way to get your colleagues involved. And then lastly, I have after-hours training. So a lot of times colleagues will join one another for either a run or a walk after work, or even during the lunch break if they're looking to get into healthier shape. And so this can be another great way if you already have, say, a walking club that has been established at your workplace, or you'd like to start one. But this is a great way that you can do that and to get more people involved. So I know that we're coming down to 1:30, and I do apologize again for my tardiness to the call, but I wanted to ask if anyone had any questions or comments, or if they wanted to share any examples of fundraising or recruitment ideas that they had.
Okay, I have one. This is Maria. I have one from, they were going to have a Zumba class, and we were thinking to have it during the week because a lot of the students are here on the campus, and we were going to have it, we're trying to find a spot, right, and we were going to have it in the month of April. But you said you could do it a couple weeks before?
I'm sorry, you said asking if it would be best to do it a couple weeks before?
Yes.
Yes. A lot of times it's really great to if you do, say, what I like to call a third-party event or grassroots event, much prior to the event, a couple weeks, a month, even a month and a half, because that's really a great, what I call a kickoff to the AMP Up event. You'll get people involved, you'll get people excited by doing this event, and then that way, if they would like to also participate in the AMP Up event, that gives them more than enough time to register for the event and then do some fundraising on their own. So
okay. That's a good idea.
Definitely a good way, exactly. So that maybe you have someone who, you know, sadly was just diagnosed or may not have, again, been aware of Beacon. So your event that's a couple weeks out prior will allow them to learn more about Beacon, learn more about AMP Up, and then hopefully, you know, register for the event themselves and get their friends and family involved.
Okay, so that's good. So it's not something that we, I mean, like you would charge for that, to have them come over and say submit so much money and you'll be able to have a Zumba class and then they could bring their own water and all that. Is that correct? You could do that?
Right, exactly. Usually with the classes, with exercise classes like that, it's best to coordinate, say, with a YMCA or maybe a gym in your area. Usually if it's an event like that, they will give you the space, and usually the instructor will also donate their time. And then what's great about that is that then they can promote that event at that club as well, so that you may have people that you don't even know participating because they like to do things like that and they like to get involved and make a donation. So you could work that out with the club or gym to say, how much do you usually charge for this? And then, you know, the people who did register for that event would have to be responsible for their own water, their towels, and things like that.
Okay, because we do have an instructor, and she already belongs to LA Fitness. I take her class. I think she's good, and a couple people in the class I spoke to, maybe about a handful, and they said that they're interested. So some of them even work. They live in New Jersey, but they come over to Philadelphia. So you know, they work here in Philadelphia, so they would be willing to do that.
Oh, sure.
So that's good.
Yeah, no, and that's a great way, too, to, again, to expand the mission of the organization, because you're talking to people that aren't within your circle, you know, if you're doing this at a larger club or gym.
Now, we're setting up a flyer for the walk. We're doing a walk for this event, but we're setting up a flyer for that. Should I do a separate flyer for the Zumba that I can pass out in the club that I belong to, and then just around local businesses?
Yeah, I mean, you could do it. You could do it either way. You could have it where, you know, obviously we want a lot of people to come to the AMP Up event in Philadelphia. So you might want to have that as the lead, and then have your Zumba class as the bottom, saying, you know, we're doing this to prepare for the walk, and as an additional fundraiser. So you could definitely, they're not mutually exclusive, but you always want to make sure that the AMP Up event is getting the prominent place on the marketing materials.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, great. That's a great one. And we really are seeing, you know, with Zumba, we're seeing it with the soul cycle. I mean, that really has really taken on a life of its own, and you know, doing the soul cycle with nonprofits and doing events around that. So we're really seeing that as a great way to raise funds and get people involved.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions or comments?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, I would just end that. If you do have any additional questions or comments, or if you want to come to me with ideas, or just to talk through an idea that you might have, I'm always available, and I'm always keen to learn more about what people are doing, and especially what people are doing in specific areas of the country, because something we might want to do in the Northeast might be different from what people want to do in the Southwest. So it's always interesting to see those regional fundraising ideas. And so I look forward to hearing from everyone.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
wait. I have one thing to add, a question from Marge. She'd be happy to with you, Maria. She had a Zumbathon before. I can, I don't know, I can put you in touch by email. It looks like you're having audio problems, Marge, but I can definitely introduce the two of you by email, and then you can share, and then I can get them out to our wider audience too.
Okay, that would be good. You mean she will give me some helpful hints on how to get this started?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it looks like she's having audio problems, but I can connect you. And then if you want to copy me, Marge, then I can share that with others. So that's what we can do in that case. Okay.
Okay.
So I think I think that's everything. But I will get this up on our website and send it out, so you'll be able to share. And I will introduce the two of you, Marge and Maria, so you can talk more about Zumba.
Okay.
Great. Well, thank you, Jean, and thank you, ladies. I apologize for the delay, and but I hope that you found this beneficial, and I look forward to working with you as we amp up for our Amp Up event series.
Okay, good.
Thank you.